Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Welcome once again to the Abundant Way Ministries Tuesday evening empowerment session. Yes, that is my favorite intro song. It is called Feeding the Ducks, one of the few songs that we can use without having to get a license because it comes with StreamYard. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. Ooh, we have 3 people on the call already.
Good evening, everyone.
If you're on the call and you can hear us, would you just do us a quick favor and chime in, say hello, let us know you're there. I think we have the comments on.
Yep.
Okay. So how are you?
I'm confused.
What are you confused
Because
about?
I don't know what's happening with this hat. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is mine.
Hello, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
What is this?
St.
Lucia. Yeah.
Lucia.
Why is it on?
St. Lucia's hat. It just reminds me that we like to travel.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the things that we like to do. Get out
Yes.
of the country, get on the water,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's leading into 102.
leading into 102. All right, ladies and
There's
gentlemen.
always a method to his
There
madness.
is always a method to the madness. So I'm mentally in travel mode.
Okay.
Although we really don't have the money to travel right now. You ever been there? You want to do something, but you really can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right now. You know what? I'm being transparent. Yeah, we would love to just get out of here because we've been so busy, but right now the funds ain't there. I'm being transparent live because while the funds are not there, that doesn't really bother me.
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because they're coming.
They're coming because they're coming. That's a word of faith.
And we have things out there that's creating money for us. So there's income, residual income that's coming. Oh, that's being generated.
There's the possibility. So one is, I think the reason why I don't get down and out or stressed out about it is because I see the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have no hope, right? To be in a tight spot with no hope. It's another thing to be in a tight spot, but there's hope, right? And what brings me hope is not even the little that we do have out there, but the fact that we know how to get it.
Right.
That right on time. That little sound was right on time. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And knowing is half the battle. When you know that you have options and you know how to do something to address or fix your situation, you don't feel helpless, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we know a little something about what we're talking about in this series, and that's real estate. And we've been in a position before where we've made some money in real estate, right? And so if you did it before, you can do it again if you know what you're doing. So that's why I'm stressing, ladies and gentlemen, really learn this stuff that we're talking about. I intentionally have diverted from what our scheduled programming was supposed to be for the month of September. And I am dealing with something that I know intimately, and I want to share it with you. And hopefully you guys pick something up from it and and take it. Yes, but that was the cashing sound.
That was the cashing.
That was the cashing sound.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
But that's actually what his notification sound for something.
Something. Somebody said something on Facebook and it said cha-ching. So, good point. So anybody on Facebook, just say something in my notifications so we can get a cha-ching. All right, so here we go. All right, we're picking up where we left off last week. Last week we did Real Estate Investing 101. A Kingdom Perspective was the title. I don't think I've ever said the title. Today we're going to be going a little deeper into real estate investing. This is 102, and the title is Goals and Strategy, right? Okay. The reason why I'm going with goals and strategy today is because I realize even after making some of my own mistakes in real estate investing is that when I first started off, I didn't really have a goal or a strategy. And so you mess around and just start buying stuff. And then you mess around and you have to sell it or you lose it. And you really, and then all of a sudden you're back at square one with nothing, right? And you wonder, why did you go through all of those, jump through all of those loops and hoops and antics to end up with nothing, right? And that's because I didn't really have a goal or a strategy when I first started investing. Not a I would say a worthy goal. There was a goal in there. And I think back then when I first started, which is in 2001, I bought my first 2 rental properties in Akron, Ohio in 2001. And my only goal was to make money. Why? Because I saw the guys on TV doing it and on the infomercial. The guy that I started from, the guy that I learned from was a guy, I want to say he was out of Florida. He was the guru at the time. His name was Carlton Sheets, and he sold his books and tapes. And you would watch his, infomercial in the middle of the night. I bought Carlton Sheets' thing, and I still have it down here somewhere. As a matter of fact, you almost had me throw it away. This is what it looked like back in the day, right? Today you can just click on a YouTube video. But no, back in the day, you had to buy somebody's program, and it had all these cassette tapes in it and a big old workbook. Look at all those pages. That's how I started. And it had documents, right? All the documents that you would need to do a real estate deal. I'm talking about listening to cassette tapes for days, tapes on this side, tapes on this side. This is where I started, right? And what I like about this program, after listening to all of the tapes and reading the whole book and looking at all the documents, the one thing that got me started, he said, most people will never start because they fear making a mistake. And he said, you're going to make mistakes. So get out there and make your first mistake. And that's exactly what I did. I got out there and started making some mistakes. And I am going to share this book with y'all as a pivot real quick. For those of you who are afraid to make mistakes, okay, real estate investing is not for you. Perhaps entrepreneurship is not for you. Maybe waking up in the morning is not for you. But I want to share with you this book that I found about a year or so ago. I encourage you to get it. This book is called The Worst Financial Mistakes in the Bible. Remember, everything that we do here on The Abundant Way is biblically based, right? This is it is an economic empowerment marketplace ministry, but it is a faith-based economic empowerment ministry. So, don't get it confused. Don't get it twisted. We are talking about real estate investing, but this is still Bible-based. With that being said, I would like my lovely wife to start us off with an opening biblical foundation.
Which is going to be taken from Proverbs 29:18. And it reads, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. I couldn't think of a now. ChatGPT did good on this one.
Oh, did
Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't think of a better scripture to lay the foundation for today's session. Where there is no vision, the people perish. When we talk about goals and strategy, which is the title for today's session on real estate investing, goals and strategy. You would do yourself a disservice if you start setting goals without first establishing your vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish. As I mentioned earlier, when I first started investing in real estate, I had a goal. My goal was to make money, but I didn't have a vision. So while I made money, as fast as I made it, I lost it. Because I didn't have a vision to drive me and help me to make the right decisions. And so I got out there, was making money and making mistakes, but with no vision to say, you know what? Yes, I want to buy some rental property, but perhaps that's not the right rental property to buy, right? Or yes, I want to buy some rental property, but maybe I bought it the wrong way, strategy. Or yes, I want to make money in real estate, but because I didn't have a vision, a long-term vision for my life, the types of investing that I made was just busy work, right? Without vision, the people perish. So I think before I left Ohio, I had about 5 houses. When I moved to Georgia, I think I had about 5 houses. That's before I even met you. I was doing this a long time. Came down here with houses. I don't have none of those houses today. Where there's no vision, the people perish. The people perish. So now, what are we talking about when we say vision? What's the difference between vision and goals? Because the title is goals and strategy, but we can't even get to the goal part until we talk about vision.
And I think the vision part of it is the overall game plan, the what you want your investments to do for you long term. What is it that you're trying to get accomplished by investing in real estate, by making money in real estate? What is it going to do for you?
Okay, that's good. And I'm gonna take it a step further, and I'm gonna just elevate that thought above real estate and say that vision ought to give you some picture of how you want your life to look. How do you see yourself living? What is your desired lifestyle? Right? And so let's say our vision, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you, you will continue to cultivate and craft your vision as life goes on. Our vision now, I'm gonna throw this out there and see if you agree. Simply put, is to be financially free. That's a part of our vision. We see ourselves being financially free, right? Ultimately, we also see ourselves while we are financially free, spending our time doing exactly what we're doing right here with the Abundant Way Ministry, being an inspiration and an encouragement to others, right? That's part of our life vision, right? We see ourselves being financially free, motivating, encouraging, and inspiring others, right? And empowering others, right? It's part of our life vision. And you see I'm stacking it, right? Being financially free, motivating, inspiring, and encouraging others, empowering others, watch this, around the world. You see how that vision is becoming much bigger than real estate?
Right.
It's about, how do we see ourselves? How do we want to see ourselves? That's vision, right? And now what you hear, what I hear, the overall arching theme is financial freedom. Because when you add on that around the world and all the stuff that we want to be able to do, it becomes difficult to see yourself being free enough to see yourself doing all of that and be stressed out about bills at the same time. Yep. Or be tied to one location because your job said you got to be there, right? It's going to be kind of hard to travel the world. That's a joint vision that I described, right? And we've talked about those things. As this is how we see ourselves as a couple, as a married couple. This is the vision that we see for our marriage, our union. Me personally, my own vision is, I've always seen myself as a preacher, teacher, motivational speaker. You kind of know that, right? Yep. That's my vision for myself. And I see myself doing that around the world, which means that I can't sit at the desk for the rest of my life, because then I won't be going around the world. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Vision. Now, where does real estate come into play? Because now we've got this vision of teaching, preaching, speaking, motivating, empowering, inspiring, encouraging others around the world, having a global reach, a global impact, that when we die, our lives meant something, right? There's a legacy behind our name, right? We've helped so many people in their life. Where does real estate come in? What does real estate have to do with any of that?
Well, it's one of the avenues to use to build the wealth so you can travel around the world.
Exactly. There you go. Because it is a tool, it becomes a tool that will aid in your financial freedom, right? Ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking about real estate investing as a possible tool, and I'm using these words intentionally, the disclaimer is that real estate is not the only investment tool that you can use. In fact, you should use others as well, right? Multiple. Yeah, so there's a saying, never put all your eggs in one basket, right? So while I am talking about real estate, please don't mistake that or misunderstand that to mean that real estate is the only way, or even the best way. I'm talking about it because this is what I know. And I know it because I got out there and I made some mistakes. And I've had some victories, right? And so what I'm doing with these sessions is I'm sharing both. Being financially free means you have enough money, savings, investments, income streams to cover your living expenses without depending on a paycheck or worrying about money. You got it. That's the best. See, perfect. I knew Mahogany was going to get in there. Not only is she our biblical scribe. Yeah. That's great. That's absolutely right. That's financial freedom. We need to leave that up there for a while so that everybody can write that down. You know what I forgot to say? I forgot to say for this session, I really wanted people to bring their pencil and paper. I mean, because the stuff that I'm getting ready to say today, I really don't want you to lose it. It's nothing technical. We're not going to get into math or numbers or anything like that. But some of these ideas you need to take with you. For example, establishing your vision and letting your vision then drive your goals, and then letting your goals then drive your strategy. Mm-hmm. Understand that. Yep. When I was coming up, I heard a lot about goals, but I didn't hear a lot about vision. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized how important having that vision is, right? And then establishing those goals based on how you see yourself living, how you want to see yourself. What is your desired lifestyle? Yeah. Do you know, and we've talked about this before, one of the hardest things I found to get people to say is what they want. Mm-hmm. In other words, you got to be able to say what it is you really want in life. Yeah. How do you want your life to look? You are you control you. Yeah, you do have a say so in that, right? The problem is many of us don't say it. Mm-hmm. We don't say it, so we don't live it. Establish your vision, ladies and gentlemen. That vision gives direction to your life. Without it, people perish. Yeah. You know, you just kind of fall by the wayside. Without it, investments become random and often fruitless. And that's what was happening to me in my early investing years. I was working it hard, doing a lot of stuff. Had stuff to brag about. I was bragging about these houses I had. The houses had roaches and all. The first two houses I had, my father can testify to this. I was so excited. I called him and showed him pictures, and it was roaches splattered on the ceiling. I said, look. He was like, are those roaches on the ceiling? I was like, yeah. I was excited. Okay. I bought my first two houses. And again, with this Carlton Sheets program, I learned how to buy houses with no money down. Those first two houses, I didn't bring a dime to the table. Mm-hmm. And I actually walked away with $4,000 when I closed on those two houses. So not only did I not bring any money to the table, but I cashed out at closing. No money down, cash out at closing. People said, is that real? Yeah, it's real. I did it then on my first two houses, and I did it several times since then. Mm-hmm. So yes, you can do it. Now, getting back to vision. So for us, our vision is financial freedom, so that we can do all of the things that we just named. Right? Defining financial freedom was the next thing on our list, and Mahogany did an excellent job. Not working for money, but having money and assets working for you. That's the short version of what Mahogany just said. So my definition, Mahogany, is not working for money, but having money and assets work hard for you. That is the definition of financial freedom. Now, the next bullet says real estate as a kingdom tool. Mm-hmm. Again, tying this back to our faith tradition, biblical. Wealth with a purpose. Again, when we talk about vision, that vision has to be bigger than money itself. It's got to have purpose, right? So we're building wealth with a purpose. And our vision, being financially free so that we can, right? There's where you start hearing purpose. So that, all right? Don't just say, I want to be financially free. Don't just say, I want to have money. Don't just say, I want generational wealth. You got to say, I want these things, watch this, so that. And that's where I really want you guys to hang your hat for a little while. So that. Because after that so that statement comes your purpose. So we're talking about this for a purpose. And we want you to consider your investing goals and strategy for a purpose, not just to have money.
Right.
You know what? A lot of people who just get money for the sake of having money actually end up destroying themselves or family members or a lot of stuff around them, because it's not really for a purpose. And the purpose also has to be bigger than just paying bills, right? That's a given. Bills will come, expenses will be there until the day you die.
Right.
So in order to leave legacy, your vision for financial freedom has to supersede the purpose of paying bills. Like, that's not the only reason we exist on this earth, is to pay bills. Some people actually feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I'm here for is to get up, go to work, come home, pay bills. No. Your vision has to supersede that. And so we're using real estate as a kingdom tool. It's a tool. And the reason why we say it's a kingdom tool, because it's going, what we're establishing here in these sessions, it's going to be used for a purpose. We're building wealth with a purpose. And that purpose is going to be tied to legacy and impact. Now, my paper says community impact, but I want to say impact. Yes, we want to impact our community. We want to impact our families. We want to impact those who are not in our community. So when we say travel the world, we have gone outside of our community. We think that what we have to share may benefit other people as well. So then the purpose for building wealth, building generational wealth then serves a greater purpose, right? And this causes a mindset shift from consumer to investor. We talked about that last week. Remember? Because you're always going to be on one side, at least on one side of real estate, right? Yeah. My hope is that you can see yourself, you can envision yourself on both sides of real estate. One side is a consumer, meaning that you've had to buy something to live in, right? That's a consumer. The other side is a producer, meaning that, or a provider. Now, you provide housing for others. So when you provide housing for others, then you are on the investing side of real estate. So we're talking about the vision for financial freedom, and that then is going to lead into how you establish your goals. And again, just to reiterate, we're talking about real estate investing during this series, but real estate is not the only investing or investment vehicle. And we encourage you to research and consider others, right? Let this be one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. We want you to consider and research other investment vehicles. But today we're talking about it, real estate, because this is what we know.
Can I add to the shifting of the mindset? Because that's huge. Because you have to change your mindset about your life, period. Especially if you're looking to change it. You can't stay in the mindset or stuck in the mindset of how we were raised and where we grew up and what we did and what we saw mama and daddy and grandpa and grandpa. We can't limit our minds to that because the world is bigger than that. There's more things out there for us to grab a hold to experience, to expose ourselves to, right? So the mind exposure is key. Yes. And you cannot You cannot limit yourself to only what you know or what you grew up around.
Mm-hmm.
You have to expand it.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this analogy about I think it's fish or shark or something like that. You limit the shark,
Oh, yeah.
the growth of the shark, by the size of the tank
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
bowl is in.
Mm-hmm.
So the smaller the tank,
Mm-hmm.
the shark won't grow. It'll stay small.
Yeah.
Right. But if you put it in a bigger
Mm-hmm.
environment, a bigger tank,
Mm-hmm.
it'll grow bigger.
That's right.
And we have to use that same analogy in our minds, in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We think small, we're gonna stay small.
Mm-hmm.
We think big, then we can grow,
Right.
and we can expand,
Right.
and we can do big things.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 You gotta get out of your gotta get off the couch, gotta get out the house,
Mm-hmm.
gotta get out your neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
gotta get out your city, get out your state, get out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
See how other people live around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You might be surprised
Mm-hmm.
what else is out there, and it will cause you to have a mindset shift
Mm-hmm.
when you start. And that's why I like where God has taken me. I've got friends and colleagues literally all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
through my job, through my fraternity, Aisha, one of my daughters, she can testify that when she went to India
Mm-hmm.
for a class project when she was at Georgia State, they sent their political science and religious studies class over to India. I believe it was those two. And because she was in film and video, she was able to go along to film it. And she was over there for about 2 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to go over there during her last 2 weeks. And I got over there, and somebody I knew in India came and picked us up and took us out to lunch. And I thank God that I have those types of connections. I can do that in India. I can do that in certain parts of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that in now France.
Mm-hmm.
My current boss now, he lives in France. My boss right before him, not Tom, but Enrica, she lives in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got these connections abroad, right? And as I get to talk to them on a daily basis, I see different perspectives of life. Right. And
Right.
so then it expands your horizon, and then it changes your vision. It's like, we've been thinking so small.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to expand our vision. And again, that's why I think when we spoke into existence, travel around the world, doing all this stuff, God then makes those connections. I didn't even think about it until now, that I know people around the world that I can go and have lunch with when I come to their country.
Right.
Right? Okay. So that Aisha said that was life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a life-changing thing. Traveling abroad, you got to do it. You have to do it. And again, think about it like this. Let's say I wanted to stay more than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my job would be happy if I said I want to stay 2 months. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if we can build our real estate or in our investment portfolios up to the point where they're our source of income, and that income comes in on a steady basis, and it's enough to cover our living expenses, then you can go and come back whenever you're ready.
Right.
That's financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So let's talk about now that we talked about vision. That vision then leads us into our goals. So we want to talk about the goals of real estate investing. Okay. I'm gonna list 4 of them, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about them. one goal, and I'm not going to list them in a particular order. One goal is passive income, right? That's consistent cash flow from your rental properties. Cash flow is one goal of real estate investing, that you will get consistent income from rental properties. All right. Cash flow. Write that down. Another goal is equity growth. We talked about equity. Remember, we talked about equity 2 weeks ago. That's the difference between how much a property is worth versus how much you owe on that property, right? That difference is equity. That's your money. That's another goal of real estate investing. Another goal of real estate investing is generational wealth, properties that can be passed down, creating legacy. Oh man, that's a whole topic in and of itself, because we're dealing with something right now where if you don't do it right, you will be creating more problems than good. Got to do it right. And we'll talk about strategy on that. And another one, the last one I have listed here, is diversification, adding stability to your financial portfolio. That speaks to what I said earlier. Although we're talking about real estate investing, real estate should not be your only investment. That should not be the only type of investment in your portfolio, right? But it is a good one. All investing has risk. I said that last time. I'll say it again. We listened to Dave Ramsey yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he was on a call with somebody, and he said something like, if you think that you're going to own rental property and none of your tenants are ever going to miss a payment, that everybody's going to always pay you on time, you're never going to have repairs, you're crazy.
Right. Right.
He said you're an idiot. I'm trying to be a knight. So, and he's a guy that owns, I think he said $100 million worth of real estate assets. And, you know, a lot of people watch YouTube and they jump out there getting into real estate thinking, you know, this is the answer to all their problems, and they'll never have another problem again. The more real estate you have, it could be the more problems you have, right? So you've got to go in knowing what work needs to be done and what the challenges are. It doesn't mean don't do it. It means be aware so that you can get ahead of certain things. Yes, if you have rental property, some tenants ain't gonna pay. Yes, some tenants will mess your property up. Yes, there will be taxes due that you don't want to pay. You know, there's gonna be things that happen. Yes, answer is yes, but it doesn't mean don't do it. All right. So those 4 things that I just mentioned are 4 different goals for real estate investing. I'm sure that there's others, right? The challenge for you guys is to define your why, right? Is it retirement? Is it family stability? Ministry funding, right? Wealth transfer, right? These goals speak to your why. Why, and we talked about why last week. Why real estate, right? From a kingdom and practical perspective, it was stability, it was wealth building, it was cash flow, it was leverage. Those are the 4 things that we talked about last week. You always got to go back to, why am I doing this? Why should I invest in real estate? Why should I invest in anything? Oh man, I think I may need to pause right there and just hang on why for a second. As we get older and we realize, dang, we made some financial mistakes, not in the Bible, but in our life.
Just in the life.
Right? Yeah. And we realize that from an investment standpoint, we probably should be a lot farther along at this age than we are right now.
Yeah.
If we are only looking at, let's say, your 401ks, right? If that's your only investment and that's the only thing that you're banking on, we would be in trouble. But because we've also included real estate in that portfolio, now the picture starts to look a little bit brighter because now we don't have to wait for time to do everything.
Right.
Like we have some control on what we buy and how we buy and what we can do with it and how we can make it make more money and how we can make it how we can leverage it to do other things that our 401k cannot do. Right. How there's no limitations on those real estate investments that are on our 401k. Nobody can tell us when we can't cash out and none of that. So we diversify, right? We got some 401k, we got some stock stuff, but we also are working on building our real estate portfolio so that we're not dependent on just this one thing. Right? Because we don't have time. Right? We would have had to been diligently pouring into our 401k since our 20s.
Yeah.
And even though I started in my 20s, I think I've withdrawn. I switched, or didn't give it that much attention to put the bare minimum in. Like why I'm gonna get in my money,
Or life happens.
Life happens, yeah. But now we see hope because real estate has the potential to produce a greater rate of return if you have the right strategy. Yeah. And that's what we're getting ready to talk about now. So we talked about the goals, right? We talked about the vision, we talked about the goals, and now we're getting ready to talk about strategy because let's say in our case, we got to play catch up so we can be in that financial position that we want to be so that we can do all those things that were listed in our vision.
Right.
And so with real estate, I see the silver lining beyond the cloud of doubt. What did Mahogany say? Dave Ramsey said someone who starts $200 a month in a retirement account at 25 years old will be millionaire by 65. That's great. We're closer to 65 than we are to 25. So that won't work for us. Right. So yeah, we probably like
but that's a good
25 years off from that.
That's a good goal to set up. That's
right.
Even to start, even if you can't do 200 a month, 100, do something. Right. Do something.
Oh, let me say this. I'm glad you said that because I'm thinking about the age where we are, but that's good advice, especially for that 25-year-old person just starting off. Absolutely. Start young because those retirement accounts, it takes time. From 65 to 25, what is that, 40 years? It takes that kind of time to build up that kind of money.
Yeah.
We don't have 40 years right now, but that doesn't mean don't do it. So we're still, while we work, we still putting money into those retirement accounts. We don't have 40 years to do it, right? But we don't negate doing it just because we don't have 40 years, right? What we do, however, is say, what else can we do? And this is how you guys have to think. It's like, don't wait on the government to come save you, right? If you sitting around waiting, thinking when I turn 65, my Social Security gonna kick in, that's the wrong strategy for your life. Because by the time you turn 65, Mahogany, Aisha, Social Security may not even exist anymore the way our country is being run. So you don't want to depend on that. 401k is a good investment retirement investment vehicle, and it is government inspired. I'll put it like that. So the government set it up so that if you put your money into this type of vehicle, then investment vehicle, then you can do it tax deferred. It's not tax free. It means that you can put money in there before paying Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Right. So that benefits you in a couple different ways. So we don't negate that. Do it. But also, if your vision is much bigger than being able to, if your vision is bigger than just being a millionaire at the age of 65, right? That's an okay goal. But in our day and time, that's kind of small.
Yeah, that is small.
Right? Millionaire goal is almost a thing of the past. It's like you got to think even beyond that now. Like $1 million used to be a lot of money.
That's like $100. Right?
It's not a lot of money to wait 40 years for it anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Don't mean don't do it, but don't bet your life on it.
Right.
Right?
Don't let it be the only thing.
Don't let it be the only thing. And for some people, that may be okay, right? It's all based on their vision.
On their why.
On your why. Like if your vision is to just say, by the time I get to 65, I just want to be able to chill. And that's it. I don't want really nothing. I just want to have my house paid for, my car paid for, and have enough money to pay my expenses, and that's it. That's fine. That $1 million may work for you. When I did my calculation, and this had to have been 15, maybe 20 years ago. When I did my 401 calculation, $1 million wasn't even enough then. It said I needed, at that time, I want to say $1.5 million or $2 million. This 20 years ago, in order to retire. Now it's like you need close to $3 million to be able to kick back the income that you need to cover your lifestyle. And that don't include traveling the world, teaching and speaking and preaching. Yeah. No. And
that's
so
just to live.
That's just to live without having to go to work. Right? If you want more out of life, then you're going to have to do something more. Right? You can't stop with that, just with that. Yeah. Let's talk about strategies real quick. So we got the vision. Everything is based on your vision. Your vision may be your vision for your life may be different than ours. Right? You may not be that person that wants to travel the world and do all of these things that we just said we wanted to do. Right. So you may not need as much as we need. And that's totally acceptable. That's totally all right. You may be someone who needs more than your vision is bigger than ours. It requires more than that. And that's fine too. The main thing is that you have established your life vision. And then your vision is driving your goals. Right. Now that you have your vision and your goals, now you can come up with strategies to help you get to those goals. So now when we relate that to real estate, what are some strategies to reach those goals? You've heard this term buy and hold. So that really speaks to rental property. Yeah, that's a strategy. That's a real estate investing strategy to buy houses that you're gonna rent out, or commercial property. Yeah, that you're gonna hold. You're gonna keep it, and you're gonna rent it out. And the goal of that strategy is to bring in more money than you're spending. That the income is greater than your expenses, right? Because in every property that you buy, there will be expenses. If you took a loan out to buy the property, of course, you got a mortgage, You also have taxes, you have insurance, you have property management, you have maintenance and repairs. And then you also have a vacancy rate. Like you've got to go in knowing that there will be times when that property is not generating any rent, whether you got a bad tenant in there or you have no tenant at all. There will be times that your property is not generating rent, but the expenses are still coming. So you factor that vacancy rate in there. You add all of those expenses up and you subtract it from the amount of money that you're bringing in. And then that becomes your income, your cash flow, right? Another strategy is house hacking. Aisha and I were talking about this earlier today. House hacking is when you, let's say, buy a duplex and you live in one side of the duplex or one unit and you rent out the other side. So the rent from the other side helps offset your expenses, allowing you to save more money. Now, here's the thing about saving money. That's another thing where the conversation got cut short. There's got to be a purpose behind your saving. First purpose is for unexpected expenses. If you you got a car repair that just came out the blue, or something happened in the house that came out the blue, you weren't expecting it, at least you've got some savings to handle that issue. Beyond that, what if you lose your job? So you need savings to be able to help you pay your expenses while you're looking for another job, right? So you want to get on the ball and start looking for that next job or replacing that income, however you make your money. In the meantime, the money that you have been setting aside for savings will help you to survive until you get back on your feet. That's number two. Number three reason for saving is so that you're prepared to capitalize on investment opportunities when they present themselves. And for me, that's the number one, that's the ultimate goal. Number one, to be able to handle emergencies. Number two, to be able to support you in case you lose an income. Number three, and ultimately, is so that you are prepared to capitalize on opportunities. So then it becomes investment opportunity money, right? So let's say all of a sudden that perfect real estate deal comes across your table, and lo and behold, because you have been saving your money, you're able to make that investment and create more money, create more cash flow. So now that duplex came online and it requires you to put 20% down, and the duplex costs, let's say, $300,000, 20% of $300,000 is $60,000. If you have been saving your money and you've got the $60,000, you just bought yourself a duplex, which means you just bought yourself more income. All right, house hacking. So house hacking allows you to save more money. It may not cover your total expenses on that house, but it will create room for you to save money for those three things. Next strategy is fixing and flipping, right? So this is when you buy houses that are run down, beat up, in disrepair and distressed, and you're going to go in there with your contractors, and I'm stressing that, if this is not what you do for a living, like you don't fix houses for a living, don't go in there fixing that house. Go in there, go find you a good qualified contractor to fix the house up for you, pay that person, and get it back on the market fast so you can sell it. A lot of people say, ooh, I save more money if I go in there and fix it myself. No, you're actually losing money because it's going to take you 10 times longer than it will take Jose, my contractor, to fix that house. He can get up, he got his whole crew, they can get that house done in 3 weeks where it would take me 3 months. And so while you're spending that time, you're paying holding costs, you're paying lights, gas, water, insurance. You got to keep the grass cut, or the city going to put a code violation on you. All this stuff is going on while you in there trying to fix a house with your hammer and nail. No, you hire somebody, right? You're going to fix and flip, and you're going to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm going to say about strategy, and this ain't on my paper. My recommendation for strategy is that the two of those things you should try to master, and that's buying and holding and fixing and flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think you should do one or the other. I'm going to say you should learn how to do both, master both. And the reason I say that is because I would say the ultimate goal is to buy and hold.
Mm-hmm.
Think of real estate as a long-term investment. That's the number one strategy, because buying and holding means that you're drawing cash flow. That's how you're going to pay your monthly expenses to live. Yeah. And you want to get that cash flow as big as possible. You want to make that cash flow or passive income greater than your expenses, right? So you can only do that with buy and hold. Fix and flips don't do that. Fix and flips gives you large amounts of capital, large amounts of cash. When you sell it, you got to think of that cash as capital that you're going to use to buy your buy and holds. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So if I fix and flip the house and made $50,000 or $60,000 or even $100,000, I don't go and take that money to the mall. I don't go on vacation with that money, mm-hmm. right? I don't go and buy a car with that money. I could, but what I'm looking to do with that money is reinvest that money in a house that I want to hold so that I could possibly own that house free and clear. Now all the cash flow is coming to me minus management, maintenance and repairs, taxes and insurance. I have no mortgage, which is the biggest part of those expenses. So if I learn how to fix and flip, I can generate capital to invest in real estate. And that's the part that a lot of people miss, right? Because you want to, if you own your rental properties free and clear, you don't have to own so many to hit your target number, right? If you got them all leveraged, let's say if I've got my properties leveraged, my cash flow after all expenses is $200, $250, $300 at best. And that's really real numbers. That's by average. Mm-hmm. You really making only $200 or $300 per property when they're leveraged. Let's say you need $10,000 a month to live off of. In order to get to $10,000 a month and you're only making $200 per property, you've got to get 50 properties, mm-hmm. right? I don't really want to own 50 properties because that's 50 headaches, right? But if you don't have a mortgage and let's say your rent is $2,000, right? But your expenses are $1,000, mm-hmm. which they would probably never be that much. Just using round numbers, you got $1,000 free cash flow per house. Now you only need to own 10. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? And the way you get there is you learn how to fix and flip so that you don't have to carry these mortgages forever, right? So that's a strategy that I really wanted to share with you guys. Another, some strategy, and write that down. That's what the pencil and paper is for. I'll go through a few more real quick, and then we're going to end the call because we're already at 8:30. Small multifamily, that's 2 to 4 units. Those up to 4 units is still residential. The minute you hit your 5th unit in a building, it becomes commercial. It's still for residential living purposes, but from a financial perspective, when you go to the bank, they call that commercial property, right? That gives you bigger cash flow. So I like that idea though, because you can have less buildings, but more doors with multifamily. So let's say I had a 10-unit apartment building that means I don't have to have 10 houses. I got one building with 10 doors. I got one roof, but 10 incomes. You see what I'm saying? So that's one way to look at that. Partnerships and syndications, that's a little more technical. I won't get into that today, especially the syndication part. That's a way to invest in large projects with a bunch of other investors, right? And some syndications have certain requirements, like you have to have $1 million net worth even to participate in the syndication, or you have to have income of $300,000 a year even just to participate in the syndication. And then there's some other legalities around that we don't have time to get into. And then the last one in terms of strategy was accelerating your payoff strategy. So you may have to take out mortgages to get the properties. But remember, the idea is not to keep these mortgages for very long at all. And this paper that I have here says pay down debt faster to maximize equity and reduce risk. Again, there are a couple ways that you can do that. The one that I like best is learn how to fix and flip, right? And use that method to pay down your mortgages faster rather than you can do snowballing and all of that stuff. And there's a whole nother process that I know of and learn. If you get, let's say, 10 properties and you take all of the rents from all 10 of those properties and put it on the principal of one, all of the cash flow and put it on one, you pay that house off. And now you got one that's free. You take all of the rents again and put it on the next one. You take all of the cash flow and put it on the next one, and you'll accelerate the payoff. You can do it in about 7 to 10 years on 10 properties. You can own 10 properties free and clear in less than 10 years if you do that. The problem is some people eat their rent, like they think that's their money. Yeah. The best time to invest in real estate is when you have a job, so that you don't have to eat that money. You're not pressed for that money. You don't need that money. Then you can use that money to accelerate the payoff, right? And so now you got to the end of those 10 properties, you own them all free and clear, and now you're generating $10,000 a month. You probably can quit your job at that point, especially if you still have your 401ks in play too. Right. So then it don't even matter. All right. So those are strategies. Again, I'm going to repeat the one that I like so that you can write this down. Strategy number 1 is buy and hold. I think that's the ultimate goal, ultimate strategy, because you want to have cash flow coming in on a monthly basis to cover your living expenses so that you can travel and teach and preach and motivational, do all of the other stuff that you said you wanted to do, right? And your bills are still being paid. They don't get paid like that, just flipping properties and then trying to live off that, because you don't know when your next flip is going to come. By the time that next flip is coming, if you've been using that money and eating off that money, you're starting all over, right? You've lost that money, actually. Okay, so you want to learn how to strategy number 1 is to accumulate rental properties. And strategy number 2 is to learn how to fix and flip so that you can accelerate the payoff of those mortgages if you have to take out mortgages, right? This last section number 5 on our sheet, is talking about common mistakes to avoid. I'm going to go through them real quick. I did talk about some mistakes in the Bible and some mistakes that I made starting off, just buying property just for the sake of buying it, right? And realizing I bought in the wrong neighborhood. They called it the bottom. I didn't even know what the bottom was until somebody told me it was the worst place in Akron you could ever buy. And I didn't realize that until every time I would try to rent it out, and the people would never show up because they realized where it was.
No, that's okay.
And you know what? It was a guy who told me, he's like, stop running ads in the paper. Just put a sign in the yard. And I was like, why? He's like, because then the people that call you from the sign, they already know that neighborhood. People who call in from the newspaper, they don't know. They don't know. And when they get to that neighborhood and be like, this where the house at? They turn around and get out that neighborhood real quick. Strategy. You got to know the game. So anyway, let me read these real quick. Common mistakes to avoid: investing without a clear goal or exit strategy. So we talked about goals and why your goal is so important before you invest. Don't just buy to be buying. But the exit strategy is one that I didn't talk about today. Aisha and I talked about that today when we were talking. Exit strategy. You are going to sell these properties. And so you don't want to buy something that nobody else will want, right? You've got to buy with begin with the end in mind. You have to buy with your exit strategy in mind, right? Because here's the thing, a lot of people don't understand when you're buying rental properties, buy and hold properties, they think you're supposed to hold on to those forever. No. You want to put a 5 to 10 year time frame on each property. The most you want to hold that property is for 10 years. At the 10-year mark, you need to sell that property and reinvest that money into a younger property, right? Don't keep holding this property, letting it get older and older and older, because more and more things are going to break down in that property. It's just going to get more, it's going to start costing you more and more money, right? So you got to have an exit plan. And it doesn't mean that you sell that property, now you can't make no more money. You do a 1031 exchange. You get out of that old property and you reinvest it into another more profitable property. But you got to do it every 5 to 10 years. You feel what I'm saying? You're never buying a rental property to hold on to it forever. But you want to stay in the rental game forever, but not with the same properties, right? You're going to get in it. You're going to get everything you can out of it in those 10 years, and then you're going to get out of it and put that money in another property and work it for 10 years. Get out of it, put that money in a better property and work it for 10. You see what I'm saying? It's like keeping your car too long. Now you got to get an oil change every 2 weeks because it won't hold no oil. Well, the houses do the same thing, right? You don't want to hold them too long. Chasing trends instead of due diligence, instead of doing your due diligence. A lot of people chasing trends out there, right? They on YouTube and the next person say, I made a lot of money doing it this way. And now all of a sudden you're trying to do it that way. No, stick with proven strategies that have been working for a long time. Number 3, over leveraging, taking out too much debt. People are so into borrowing money. Oh, you can get $300,000. Well, I don't really want your $300,000. I'm trying to be as debt free on these properties as I possibly can because that affects my cash flow. Now, number 4, ignoring cash flow numbers and relying on appreciation. No, you got to do both. You want to know that the property that you buy is appreciating in value over time, and you also need the cash flow. Right? You don't want to just rely on appreciation because that's just thinking about fixing and flipping. But you want to make sure that the cash flow is coming in to pay for your living expenses. And then finally, talking about forgetting the kingdom purpose, wealth without vision is wasted, right? Don't forget why you're doing all of this, right? Because it can get exciting. And once that money starts rolling in, you can get distracted and forget why you're doing this. Next thing you know, you done built all these properties up and you on YouTube telling everybody, but you're not even going around the world teaching and preaching and empowering and encouraging and enlightening and inspiring like you said you was going to do, right? Now you way off on doing something else, right? Don't forget to keep the main thing the main thing. Stay true to your vision. And that's where we're going to leave it. 10 minutes over time. Thank y'all for who stayed on with us this evening. And I hope you got something out of it. Woo. I love it. I love it.
I know you do.
I love it. And
you could have kept going.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as we close. As we close. We're not saying this we're not teaching this from a position of we've already made it. We've done some things, we've had some success, but we're nowhere near where we where we're going.
Right.
Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
Where we're going. And so we still have a lot of work to do. And this just encourages us, motivates us teaching ourselves what we need to be doing.
Yeah, our vision.
So if you're doing it and we're doing it, we're in this thing together.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say. You got anything? You sure?
I'm sure. Yeah. No, you said it all.
All right.
This time.
Okay. Well, then, with that being said, guys, thank you for joining this evening. Please like and share this broadcast with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Share it with your enemies. I don't care. I think everybody can benefit from something that was said tonight. And until next time, until we meet again.
Here it come, guys.
Here it come.
Good night.
See you in the dust.